8 spine-chilling paranormal encounters caught on camera, hidden footage of the cursed. Sarah had giggled at the headlines. Until now, they felt like exaggerated nonsense. Cursed? Please, just a marketing ploy. But as she sank into her new home, an unsettling aura began to weave through the faded wallpaper and creaky floorboards. It started innocently enough, flickering lights at odd hours, the shadows dancing on the walls when she knew no one was there. Toys her kids had left in neat little piles turned up in bizarre places. Once, a favorite stuffed bunny appeared on the top shelf, almost as if it had sprinted there. Panic clawed at her throat. This neighborhood was supposed to be a safe haven. White picket fences, smiling faces. How could something so sinister lurk behind such charm? One sleepless night, she drifted off while trying to rationalize the whispers. Low murmurs slipped through the cracks of her home like cold tendrils, wrapping around her heart. Was it the wind, she thought? But then, unmistakably, she heard her name, a fragile echo drifting on the air. After a long shift at the diner, she mustered the energy to check the security footage she'd installed for peace of mind. Moments turned into eternity. It flickered to life, casting an eerie glow throughout her dimly lit room. What looked like nothing more than an innocuous hallway quickly morphed into a nightmare. Shadows elongated and twisted unnaturally. Was that a figure brushing past? An eerie gasp left her lips as the audio betrayed a bone-chilling wail, crackling like fire beneath an unseen force. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Doubt gnawed at her, but her instincts wove a more sinister narrative. She approached the friendly elderly couple next door, the Hargroves, their warm smiles stark against the chilling reality. "Have you noticed anything strange?" she asked, heart swimming with trepidation. Their laughter sliced through the tension like a knife, eyes twinkling with a mix of mirth and something else, something darker. "Life's a little odd sometimes," Mrs. Hargrove replied, her sweet voice draping over the words like an uncomfortable blanket. "Just don't let your imagination get the best of you." It felt dismissive, almost predatory. At night, the whispers grew louder, molding into something familiar, a list of names intertwined with grief and guilt. With every sleepless breath, the fabric of her new life unraveled. She stood at her front door, chilled. What had she stumbled into? Shadows shifted around her. And her heart hammered furiously as the familiar sound of her children playing turned into an echoing chorus of laughter that echoed through the night. Too sweet, yet too haunting. Suddenly, the door creaked open behind her. There stood a shadowy figure, eyes glinting like shards of broken glass. It couldn't be her imagination anymore, could it? The reality of her situation clawed its way into her mind, igniting fear beyond measure. As fear coursed through her veins, Sarah realized the only path forward lay in uncovering whatever darkness had seeped into the walls of her own home. But what if the truth was more horrifying than the shadows that now consumed her? The figure loomed closer, and with an agonizing breath, she prepared to find out. The figure edged forward, a silhouette that seemed to absorb the dim light around it. Sarah's breath caught in her throat, her heart thundered in her chest, roaring against the encroaching dark. It felt as if the very air thickened, pressing down on her like an anchor. There was something familiar in its posture, something that sent a chill spiraling down her spine. "Mom? The voice was soft, but laden with a weight she couldn't place. It pierced through the terror, wrapping around her confusion. She squinted, straining to see the features of the figure before her. And just like that, the truth crashed over her. This couldn't be real. Her hand shot to her mouth to stifle a gasp. "Is it really you?" The words tumbled out, a fractured plea, as she stepped closer, instincts screaming to run. "Help us," the figure whispered, its voice reverberating around the darkened hallway like a faint echo bouncing off forgotten walls. "Help who?" Sarah stumbled, every instinct urging her backwards. But curiosity clawed at her, dragging her forward. The eyes, two dark wells, seemed to bore into her soul, unearthing her deepest fears. "Mommy!" The voice again, but this time it sounded younger, innocent. "They're so angry." Tears brimmed in Sarah's eyes, a torrent of emotions bubbling beneath the surface. "Where are you? Where are you?" she choked out, feeling her stomach twist with dread as her senses heightened. The figure nodded slowly, gesturing with a trembling hand towards the end of the hallway, where the shadows rooted deeper and the air felt frigid. The space around Sarah thickened, like time was stretching painfully thin. She didn't want to follow, didn't want to move, but she couldn't bear the agony of not knowing. Could there be truth in the nightmares that haunted her? Suddenly, the flickering lights blinked out completely. The world around her plunged into a suffocating darkness. Fear gripped her as she fumbled her phone from her pocket, its dim light cutting through the black. Her heart raced. She could feel the shadows shifting, swirling in a maddening dance, as if alive. "Mommy, they're coming!" the figure cried, a desperate tremor in its voice. With each step down the hallway, dread slithered around her ankles, dragging her deeper into regret. What awaited at the end? The past whispered like a haunting melody, but she forged ahead, determination piercing through the fog of fear. As she neared the door at the end of the hall, she felt a rush of air brush past her, icy and electric. The doorknob twisted, cold against her palm. It hadn't been locked. How could it? Could this be it, the answer she desperately craved? Taking a breath, she pushed the door open. The hinges screamed in protest, sending shivers coursing down her back. Her phone light flickered, illuminating a room packed with shadowy figures, whispering incoherently. The air grew thick, suffocating under the weight of their presence. "Help us," they repeated in unison, voices intertwining like a haunting chant, drowning her in despair. And just as the realization of her new reality washed over her, a loud crash echoed through the house. She spun around, heart in her throat. What was happening? Where had it come from? Panic surged. Before she even had a moment to react, the figure lunged at her, eyes wide with fear. "Run, now!" Her heart raced. Would she be able to escape the shadows tracing her steps? Or had they already claimed her as theirs? The door behind her slammed shut, and the whispering grew louder, drowning her plea for help. As darkness enveloped her, she clawed at the walls, desperate for an escape. But what if help would only lead her deeper into the terror that awaited? The shadows closed in. A cacophony of voices surged within her mind. Was there a way out, or was she forever trapped in this nightmare? The echo of laughter mixed with screams reverberated around her as she screamed, "I want out!" But silence followed. Darkness pressed down. Then everything went black. And there, the fading echoes of a familiar name lingered, leaving her with a chilling question. How far would she go to uncover the truth waiting in the dark? The darkness pulsed around her, a living thing that wrapped tightly around her limbs. Sarah's heart hammered in her chest, a frantic beat drumming against the silence that engulfed her. She opened her mouth, ready to scream, but the air was thick with an oppressive vacuum, snuffing out her voice before it could escape. Then came the whispers again, a chorus of voices, their words coiling around her mind. "Help us," they pleaded, chilling her to the bone. She could sense their anguish, as if each syllable dripped with desperation. "Stop!" Sarah shouted, trying to break free from the grip of despair. But the sound barely escaped her lips before falling into the void. She was not alone in this darkness. The figures pressed closer, their outlines blurring and shifting like smoke. Matters worsened when one of them stepped forward, a thin figure with hollow eyes and a mouth twisted in a silent scream. It raised a finger, pointing vehemently at a corner of the room. A chill, slicing through her, made her pull back instinctively, but she couldn't look away. "What do you want?" she managed to stammer, her voice shaking. "Before you can find us, you must find her," the figure whispered, the lingering air of sorrow creating a weight like lead on her heart. Who do I need to find?" she demanded, rising frustration sparking through fear. The figure simply shook its head and vanished into the shadow, leaving Sarah fumbling in the dark. She could hear them urging her, drawing her attention back to the corner. This darkened part of the room seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Doubt knotted in her gut. She knew every instinct should scream at her to flee. Yet a morbid curiosity pushed her forward, step by trembling step. The air grew colder as she moved closer. She raised her phone, the dim beam of light flickering against the walls, revealing peeling paint and stains that looked like dried blood. Panic churned in her stomach as she squeezed the phone tighter, almost hoping it would offer some comfort. Then she saw it. A small, ancient door embedded in the thick stone wall, nearly lost in the shadows. Its surface was rough, covered in marks she couldn't decipher, but one stood out. A childlike handprint, small and smudged, lay directly in the center, as if begging to be touched. "Is this what you want?" Sarah whispered, her breath hitching in her throat. The room echoed back her hopelessness. A violent crash erupted from behind her, vibrating the air. She whipped around, heart racing, spotting the door she had just entered through swinging open as if forced by an unseen hand. The corridor appeared impossibly wide, whirls of darkness twisting at its edges. Then she heard it, a growl, low and threatening, reverberating through the hallway. It clawed at her insides, the primal fear rendering her frozen for a brief moment. Did it come from the shadows? Was it one of them? "Sarah!" A raspy voice called from deep within the hallway, familiar yet warped, pulling at memories she'd buried long ago. "Mom?" It slipped out, breathy and weak. Was it true? A flicker of hope ignited. But what if this was another trap? As the sounds grew closer, the shadows parted, revealing glimmers of light that felt both a promise and a threat. Without thinking, Sarah darted toward the child's handprint, her fingers brushing it softly. She felt warmth pulse through her veins, an eerie connection. "I will help you!" she shouted into the darkness, every ounce of courage pouring into her voice, defying the dread coiling around her. But as she turned again toward the hallway, the growling turned into a chorus, angry, tormented sounds rising higher, filling the air with chaos. The figures began to crowd closer, their faces twisting in rage and despair. It was then she felt it, the cold grip of something sinister wrap around her ankle. The last image she saw was the hallway, swirling into a maddening chaos, and she screamed, "What do you want from me?" Terror enveloped her, and the shadows lunged. As the darkness closed in, a thought pierced through. Was it too late to change her fate? Or was this just the beginning of a deeper horror she couldn't comprehend? The shadows laughed, a haunting symphony, as Sarah surrendered to the unknown. What twisted path would she uncover next, and would there be a way back? The cold grip tightened around Sarah's ankle, pulling her down, dragging her into the swirling void. Her cries echoed, thin and desperate, swallowed by the ravenous darkness. The oppressive weight of fear crashed against her, threatening to crush her spirit. She bit through the terror, her heart racing, every instinct screaming to escape. Yet, against all reason, her fingers still tingled from brushing against the child's handprint. An undeniable connection burned in her mind, a tether to what she could only hope was salvation. Still, as the shadows writhed and clawed at her, she sensed something dreadfully wrong. They whispered louder now, a cacophony of despair that seeped into her very soul. "You could have saved us," the voices hissed, dripping with blame and urgency, a plea for revenge wrapped in sorrow. Suddenly, a force yanked her backward, smashing her against the damp stone wall. Stunned, she looked up, and her breath caught. One of the figures loomed above her, its hollow eyes burning with a manic light that burned through the gloom. It lowered itself inches from her face, revealing a disfigured smile that cracked when it opened its mouth. "Find the light," it rasped, a sound like nails on glass, before vanishing, leaving her trembling in cold realization. "Find the light," she muttered, her voice a mere breath. That had to mean something, but what? The shadows twitched, and the growl returned, more menacing, more alive. She realized then that the deeper she retreated into the darkness, the more powerful they became, as if feeding on her terror. Yet the flicker of hope, the light, gnawed at her mind. She couldn't give in, not now. With renewed determination, she fought the sensation of helplessness, pushing herself to rise. Heart blasting like a war drum, she scanned her surroundings, searching for anything that might lead her to that elusive light. As she stumbled across the room, her phone illuminated strange symbols etched into the stone floor beneath her feet, glowing faintly. They swirled like a spiral, drawing her eyes deeper into their geometric mystery. Another whisper echoed in her ears, familiar yet disquieting. "Follow the path." Taking a steadying breath, Sarah stepped onto the first symbol. It shimmered beneath her weight, and a pulse of warmth surged through it, sending electrifying jolts through her skin. For a moment, she felt safe, as if the darkness recoiled, its sinister presence retreating. But then came the growling once more, closer now, feral and furious. It clawed at her resolve. She panicked, her instinct screaming to turn back. Yet, she forced herself to keep moving along the trail, stepping onto the next symbol. Each step was met with a chorus of anguished cries, sharp reminders of the trapped souls that lingered in the shadows. "Save us! Help us!" they wailed, a chilling ensemble that clawed at her sanity. Then, ahead, she spied it. A flickering light, small and fragile against the all-consuming night. It danced just beyond her reach, shimmering sweetly, enticingly. Hope ignited inside her, fierce and wild, pushing away the shadows for a fleeting moment. But as she approached, the growl crescendoed into a thunderous roar, shaking the very ground beneath her.
Panic surged as she darted toward the light, the shadows lunging after her with predatory zeal. "Move!" she screamed to herself, the urgency blossoming within her chest. She could do this. She had to reach the light. Her fingers brushed the edges of the glow, and as the shadows clawed at her heels, she leapt. Would she break through into salvation, or was this merely a fleeting glimmer in an endless abyss? The moment stretched, time itself bending, as Sarah grasped for the unknown. Each breath burned in her throat, her heart racing, a desperate rhythm pounding against the danger closing in. With one final push, she dove into the light. What awaited her on the other side? Would it be freedom or a dark conclusion to her fight for survival? The light enveloped her, blinding and warm. It felt like 1,000 voices merging into one, echoing out a comforting hum. Sarah gasped, tasting the air as it transformed from the cloying, stifling scent of damp stone to something fresh and alive. She felt weightless, as though floating through the glow, freed from the oppressive grasp of the darkness. But then, whispering shadows flit around the edges of her vision. The light pulsed, intensifying, and for a moment she thought maybe this was the sanctuary she had longed for. But just as quickly, the hope slammed back into reality. The walls surrounding her began to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and everything shifted like a mirage darting just out of reach. "Sarah." The voice was soft, maternal, yet threaded with an urgent tone. Sarah blinked, and out from the shimmering light stepped a figure she barely recognized. A woman stood before her, draped in ethereal robes, her features mismatched but vaguely familiar. The flickering light cast a golden sheen over her hair, and she reached for Sarah, voice soothing yet twisted. "You must understand before it's too late." But before she could grasp the woman's meaning, shadows roiled at the edges of the bright space, dark tendrils stretching outward, hungry, desperate. The motherly figure raised her arm, a shield against the creeping despair. "They're coming for you!" the woman shouted, her tranquil expression breaking into a mask of terror. In that instant, reality warped. Sarah felt the heat of the light withdraw, replaced by the chilling rasp of blackness encroaching upon her. It seeped in, filling the spaces where the light had been, snuffing out warmth, driving in the cold clutch of fear once more. "Trust me," the figure urged, her eyes wide with frantic determination. "You must face what you've denied, what has haunted you for years." Sarah's mind jolted back to her childhood, filled with regretful cracks and splinters. She suddenly remembered how she had stumbled upon the very same darkness as a child, how she had turned away from it, leaving others to suffer in silence. "No!" she screamed, the weight of realization crashing back to crush her spirit. The darkness surged, engulfing her once more, and with a shriek, Sarah felt herself pulled into a whirlwind, deep into the abyss. She clawed at unseen walls, her heart racing with terror as faces began to emerge from the soot-black void. They twisted and blurred, haunting eyes peering into her soul, accusing, wanting her to see their suffering. "Sarah, help us! You have to help!" they cried in unison, blurring the line of reality with their disembodied wails. "No!" she roared back, the futility of their pleas leaving her breathless. Light flickered faintly, then extinguished, casting her into complete darkness. Then, suddenly, a stirring. Sarah blinked, and she wasn't alone. The woman appeared again, stepping through the dark, her luminescent presence a beacon. "The only way through is by reliving your past," she said, voice steady despite the chaos swirling around them. "You need to confront your fears, Sarah. You have to make a choice." The shadows rustled with malicious intent, as if sensing her hesitation. Sarah's heart thundered. Choice? What choice? Face your truth or let it consume you. Before she could respond, the darkness lunged, releasing a chorus of voices that spiraled into a deafening crescendo. She felt herself teetering on the edge, a precipice leading to unknown horrors, or perhaps a flicker of escape. Fighting the terror clawing at her, Sarah clung to the woman's words. "What do I do?" The woman pointed into the gaping maw of darkness, a pathway revealing glimpses of flashing memories, moments she had buried deep, years of torment and regret. You must choose. Will you go forward or stay in the grasp of shadows? With adrenaline surging, Sarah took a shaky breath, readying herself to step into her past. Would this unravel the truth she feared, or plunge her deeper into a nightmare she couldn't escape? The darkness thickened, and Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Instinct screamed at her to pull back, to flee from the memories lurking within the shadows. But as the air grew heavier, laden with the weight of her past, she felt an unexpected urgency, a need to push through. "Do you see it?" the woman pressed, gesturing towards a haunting swirl of memories. They flickered like old film projections, each image a snapshot of pain. A long-forgotten birthday party, laughter echoing hollowly, a broken swing swaying in an empty yard, her once vibrant playmates fading into obscurity. Suddenly, the shadows shifted, contorting into figures. Which faces were those? Eyes wide, mouths stretching in silent screams. Each figure seemed to reach out, grasping for her. They wanted her recognition, her acknowledgement. "They're part of you," the woman whispered, urgency slipping into despair. "You buried them, Sarah. You can't escape them. They will always follow." She stepped forward, heart pounding like a drum against the suffocating silence. Memory surged, breaking against her mind's defenses. "No!" she gasped, clutching her head as if to block the surge. "I don't want to see!" But the darkness pushed in closer. She recoiled as blinding agony seized her chest. The woman steadied her, eyes fierce and intent. "You must confront them. They won't hurt you. You have the power to change this." Another memory flashed. It was the face of a boy, her best friend, Mark, his final moments replaying. "Why didn't you save me?" The accusation sliced through her, cold and sharp. She had watched him fall into the dark well, terrified, paralyzed, and ultimately did nothing. Images flashed faster now, his desperate, fading pleas, the gathering shadows that had pulled him into a depth of suffering she'd never understood. Sarah trembled under their weight. "Mark," she whispered, realizing what she had buried. "Face him," the woman urged, her voice piercing the void. "Tell him what you need to." But before she could summon courage, the darkness engulfed her again. Drowning in fear, Sarah flailed against invisible binds that cut into her. "Sarah, help us!" The chorus thrummed in her ears. They were closer now, voices melding into a cruel chant. "Help us! Help us!" "No!" she roared, but the scream only echoed back at her, taunting, as if the very voices of the lost reveled in her pain. She shut her eyes tight, wishing to escape, to flee this torturous cycle. Her heart raced in a desperate sprint toward a confrontation she didn't want. And suddenly, a flicker of light, her own trembling hands stretched out towards the shadows. "I'm sorry," she shouted, tears streaming down her cheeks, dripping into the abyss. "I should have saved you." At that moment, the shadows hesitated, pulling back, their haunting whispers quieting. "Now you're starting to understand," the woman cried, relief flooding her voice. "You can rewrite your story, Sarah. You can set them free." Just as she felt a shred of hope, a glimmer piercing the night, The ground lurched beneath her. The figure snarled, snapping back into a frenzy of rage. "Too late," they screeched, their voices rising, drowning her in a storm of anguish and despair. The vortex twisted tighter around her, pulling everything back into darkness as rays of hope vanished. "Choose now," the woman cried, desperation echoing against her. Reality shattered, and Sarah's heart raced while the shadows lunged forward, the wails crashing against her. Stay and succumb, or face the terror of your past? But which one would save her soul? The shadows swallowed her scream as time stood still, teetering on the brink of a choice that could slice her in two. An endless void gaped before her. Each breath felt like a countdown to devastation. As she clung to the frayed edges of her sanity, she knew that something unimaginable awaited her. What hidden terrors remained, lurking beyond the veil of the shadows? The next choice could either ignite salvation or seal her fate in eternal torment. The ground felt alive under Sarah's feet, a pulsing mass tangled with her fear. The shadows writhed, reforming into grotesque shapes, each one a testament to her buried guilt and regret. She stumbled forward, eyes wild, heart screaming as the memories clawed at her, desperate to be set free. "Sarah!" The woman's voice sliced through the chaos. "Choose!" But it was more than a choice. This was an ultimatum. The specters hollered, their voices drowning her in despair. They were her truth, her buried past clawing ferociously at the surface. With wildly beating heart, she grasped for clarity amidst the cacophony. Images flickered, a childhood shaded by joy, now marred with anguish. She could still see Mark's face, twisted in torment. His eyes begged her to act, to save him. But how? "Talk to him!" the woman shouted again, wrath mingling with a deep-seated fear for Sarah. Hesitation gripped Sarah. How could she face him? The darkness pressed down, smothering her resolve. The surrounding shadows lashed out, slashing at her with weighty whispers. "You abandon us! You let us fall!" "Mark!" she cried, tears streaming down her cheeks, crashing like waves. I was scared. I didn't know what to do." Her voice faltered, dwindling into an echo that mingled with the chilling wind. "Face the truth," the woman commanded, urgency crackling in the air. "He can hear you. You owe him this." The shadows pulsed, and Sarah caught a glimpse of Mark, his anguished cry melting into the abyss where he was lost. "Tell him!" The command pierced through her resolve like an ice pick. "Mark, I'm sorry!" she screamed, anguish wrapping around her. "I was so afraid. I didn't know how to help." Her voice faltered, dwindling into an echo that mingled with the chilling wind. "Face the truth," the woman commanded, urgency crackling in the air. "He can hear you. You owe him this." The shadows pulsed, and Sarah caught a glimpse of Mark, his anguished cry melting into the abyss where he was lost. "Tell him!" The command pierced through her resolve like an ice pick. "Mark, I'm sorry!" she screamed, anguish wrapping around her. "I was so afraid. I didn't know how to help." The air grew still. For a heartbeat, silence wrapped her like a shroud. It was as if time unwound and the memories paused, awaiting her next breath. Then Mark's face broke through the haze of shadows, eyes gleaming with a mix of pain and something else, desire for release. The darkness around him thinned, and Sarah felt a flicker of hope rise in her chest. But just as it sparked, shadows surged again, like a tidal wave ready to crash. "Too late! You have to choose!" they raged, their claws stretching out to ensnare her once more. Panic flooded her senses, drowning logic and reason. Face your fear, or watch him suffer eternally. Sarah's heart bucked violently in her chest. "I won't watch him suffer," she roared. The shadows recoiled for a second, suspended in a moment of disbelief. And then, when hope seemed tangible, a horrific laugh erupted, tearing through the moment. "You think you can save him? You've already lost." Shadows charged, a chaotic mass of agony and regret swirling into an impending storm, and she felt them wrap around her, dragging her back into the gaping maw of despair. As she fought against them, Sarah caught a fleeting glimpse of the woman, pale, desperate. "Invoke the truth. You are strong enough." It cut through her horror. Those words ignited a flicker of strength buried deep. "This is my choice," she bellowed, voice shaking but alive with determination. "I won't let you take him." But could she withstand the weight of the shadows? Each breath felt like glass in her throat, each heartbeat a countdown. "Mark!" she screamed again, desperation cementing her resolve. "I'm here! I'm here!" And then, in that urgent plea, the darkness retreated momentarily, an opening amidst the chaos. What would await her on the other side? Could she truly rewrite her story? Swallowing the fiery lump in her throat, Sarah plunged forward into the chaos, ready to confront the truth that could save them both or lead to a darkness deeper than her nightmares. What horrors awaited her at the core of the storm? Could the truth burn bright enough to obliterate the shadows? The world around Sarah twisted, blurring into an unrecognizable tapestry of nightmares. She clenched her fists, feeling the pulse of the ground echo through her veins. The shadows surged again, deeper, darker, whispering promises of despair filled with her own fears. The faces in the dark morphed, transforming into those she had lost. Mark, her childhood friends, each waiting to accuse her of betrayal, each holding a mirror to her anguish. "Are you ready?" A low voice dripped from the edges of the darkness, thick with taunting. It coiled around her throat like a serpent, tightening each time she faltered. I won't give in." She fought against the suffocating grip of the abyss, wild determination flaring. As her voice rang out, she felt the shadows flinch, just slightly. It wasn't much, but it was something. "Each step deeper into the storm edges the truth, Sarah." The woman's voice called again, a beacon in the haunted realm. But something was wrong. It trembled, as if the words were plucked from a place long cracked and hollow. "Face your darkness, or it will consume you both." The ground shook, and the very air thickened, pressing against her with a palpable weight, almost as if something stirred beneath. For a fleeting moment, she felt the warmth of hope, her conviction flickering like a solitary candle in a tempest. "Mark!" she shouted his name again, but this time it was stronger, reverberating through the chaos. "I know you're in there. Fight back. We can make it through this." The shadows recoiled, uncertain, granting her a sliver of hard-won power. She was more than a victim. She was the architect of her fate. "Mark, please, if you can hear me, you have to hold on." Fingers brushed against her shoulder, icy and dead. She turned, startled, and found a face emerging from the darkness, fragmented and distorted. Was it Mark? The shadows twisted around him, clinging as if they knew she was beckoning him forth. His eyes filled with desperation, gleaming like the last rays of sunlight before dusk. "Sarah," he breathed, voice deep and echoing, laced with a sorrow that wrapped around her heart. "You promised. You forgot me. You let me fade. No! Panic flooded her, rushing through her body like electricity. But I'm here now! I'm fighting! She fought to suppress the guilt. It clawed at her throat, but she had to focus, not on the weight of the past, but on their future. We can break this cycle. I can save you. The darkness writhed, twisting and contorting. The laughter returned, harsh and painful, drowning out her words. You think you control the truth. It is too late for him, and it is too late for you. Chains of fear rattled, pulling tightly, as shadows reached out, ready to drag her back. Each inch she pushed forward was met with claws scraping at her mind, echoing memories of failure. Face it, Sarah, you will never escape. The laughter roared, filling the void with menace. But I can change, she screamed. I choose to fight. I won't abandon you, Mark. There was a shift. The shadows hesitated, flickering. A brief breath caught in the incessant wind. A moment of decision. Was there a way to pull him through the shadowy veil? Mark's face softened, reaching out to her, uncertainty brewing. Help me, please. But just as hope shimmered on the horizon, it slipped away, like sand through her fingers. The shadows roared, charging forward, intent on engulfing her whole. In that heartbeat of horror, Sarah felt the ground quake beneath her, a promise of new terror crackling in the air. With resolve boiling in her veins, she prepared for the worst. A plunge into the very heart of the storm, where truth lay hidden, waiting for her. What awaited her in that abyss? Would the truth be a beacon, or the sharp blade that severed their last thread of hope? The shriek of the shadows echoed all around Sarah, a cacophony of torment that threatened to drown her spirit. Heart racing, she took a staggering step forward, the ground rippling beneath her as if alive, reacting to her every move. "Mark!" she shouted again, desperation clawing at her throat. Her voice cut through the tumult like a shard of glass, sharp and clear. She felt the frigid fingers of the shadows retreat momentarily, allowing her a fleeting space. "I won't give up on you." The very atmosphere around her pulsated with thick, malevolent energy, shadows quaking with an eerie resonance, each whisper intensifying her fear. What had she bargained for? This wasn't the world she knew. This was a twisted reflection, a mirror of grief, anger, and spite. The darkness squirmed, forming grotesque shapes that morphed into haunting visages. Friends from her past, faces warped and accusing, hovered like phantoms.
Their hollow eyes grasping at her sanity. With every blink, their expressions transformed, now mocking her, now pleading. "Sarah!" Mark's voice broke through, a brittle whisper in the storm. "You have to let go. You can't save me. You let me down." "No!" She shook her head violently, the dread coiling tighter around her like a noose. "I can't lose you. I'm here for you. Fight back." The shadows grew restless, surging forward, thrashing around her like a ravenous beast. It wanted to consume her, to erase her existence. She braced herself as the ground quaked violently, tremors echoing deep within her bones. Then, in an unexpected surge of energy, a sudden light burst forth from her heart, a warm glow that danced defiantly against the encompassing darkness. It flickered, but it was steady, ignited by her will and fierce love for Mark. "I will carve a path. I will not yield to you." As the beacon grew brighter, she found herself thrust into a vision, a glimpse of their past. She was transported back to sunlit memories, laughter echoing across a field,
Mark's smile illuminating everything around her. But the moment was fleeting, snatched back into the ever-hungry void. She saw shadows clawing at their joy, gnashing teeth of despair that fed off regret. "Face the truth," hissed the shadows, their voices an unholy chorus, weaving around her, relentless. "You are the cause of his pain." But as the darkness writhed, seeking to entangle her in guilt, her resolve burned hotter. She refused to drown in their lies. "I'm not afraid of you." A sudden pulse emanated from her, an energy that wrestled with the shadows like a mighty river bursting through a dam. "Show me the truth, then. Reveal what you hide." The ground beneath her erupted, crackling with energy. Unseen forces tore at her sense of reality, but instead of breaking her, it revealed the churning chaos beneath her feet. She felt herself falling, spiraling downward, drawn into the very heart of the abyss. For a moment, silence swallowed her whole. In that weighty pause, she took a breath, quickly building her strength, calling on every ounce of love for Mark. Just then, her foot struck solid ground, and she stumbled into a cavern filled with crystal shards, shimmering with an eerie light. "What is this place?" she whispered, dread prickling her skin. "Welcome to the truth," the whisper returned, cold and beckoning, enticing her to delve deeper. In the silence, she sensed movement. Something slithered in the shadows, shifting just beyond her vision, breathing heavy with hunger. What other horrors lay buried in this grim place? Was the truth truly a weapon, or would it ultimately seal their fates forever? The air around Sarah vibrated with a weight that felt almost alive, shimmering with echoes of secrets long buried. The cavern glimmered dimly, illuminating the jagged edges that surrounded her. She steadied herself against a sharp rock, breath quickening, grappling with the ominous sensations swirling within. "Welcome to the
Truth." The whispers hummed again, a chorus of souls seeking release, seeking recognition. "Mark!" Her voice rang out, strong, defiant. "I'm here! I'll find you!" She held tight to the flickering light within her, using it like armor against the encroaching darkness. The shadows flickered, eager to pounce on her vulnerability. They twisted between shards of glass, forming grotesque shapes of the past that clawed at her memories, fueling her guilt, resentment, and the regret that had wrapped around her heart for years. Each figure seemed to accuse her, a mirror reflecting every decision that led to Mark's despair. "Nobody can save you, Sarah. You were too late then, and you're too late now," they chanted in haunting unison, the echo ricocheting off the stone walls. "No!" she shouted. "I won't accept that." Driven by desperation, she took a step forward, heart pounding against her ribcage. Those faces, those small slivers of past pain, mirrored her own. She would not be silenced by the weight of their suffering. She had to confront her greatest shame. "I failed you, Mark, but I won't fail you again." The shadows recoiled slightly at her determination, replaced by an unsettling silence. Was there a flicker of vulnerability mingled with their sinister forms? Her heart raced as a familiar warmth pulsed from her chest, igniting a spark deep within her. With fiery resolve, Sarah pressed deeper into the cavern, abandoning her fear. She had felt paralyzed for too long, but now she needed the strength to believe in herself, to recognize that their pain was also intertwined with her devotion. "Shine your light." The gentle voice of the woman resonated again, almost palpable, guiding her through the darkness. Stepping over glimmering shards, Sarah felt the urge to embrace the light within her. Something was shifting. She could feel it in her marrow. Each step away from the shadows invoked the courage locked deep inside.
the courage to face the truth she had long avoided. As she walked further, surrounded by whispers, she focused on the flickers of memories, moments that brought her immeasurable joy. And intertwined with them, the moments she lost Mark. "Remember," she murmured to herself, "it was never too late." Suddenly, a bright light erupted from the shards under her feet, piercing through the dark with blinding intensity. She shielded her eyes as it enveloped her, washing away the nightmares that clung to her heart. As the shadows writhed, the anguish and accusations dissipated into a wisp of smoke. The beams danced around her, illuminating a familiar figure emerging from the light. "Mark?" she gasped, trembling with hope and disbelief. His visage was softer now, free from the torment she had envisioned. He looked at her with compassion, not anger, an emotion that deluged her with warmth, unraveling her fears. "Sarah," he breathed, clarity in his eyes as the shadows melted away, leaving behind the familiar cavern of their childhood. "You didn't let me fade. You forgot the power of your love, the strength that binds."
"Us! We can break this together!"
Overwhelmed, Sarah stepped forward, arms outstretched. The radius of warmth enveloped her as she reached for him, collapsing into an embrace that felt surreal yet real.
"I'm so sorry, Mark. I was so scared. I should have saved you," she sobbed.
The guilt poured out like rain, washing away the fog of helplessness that had clouded her heart for so long. "In facing the truth, you freed us both, Sarah," he said softly. "Our love has always been our light. It will guide us through." The chaos around them dimmed, shadows shrinking into the fine cracks of the cavern, retreating into whispers. They held each other, warm and alive, basking in the glow of their connection, tearing through the fear that had bound them. As the light intensified, Sarah felt it, an unshakable belief in herself, the love she could give, and the power to change her fate. With Mark by her side, she knew they could rewrite the past, shedding the chains that had long held them captive. Together, they emerged from the cavern, stepping into a new world of possibilities, courage burning bright within them, knowing they could face whatever awaited with love and hope. Time felt fluid as they raced into the light, the shadows of the past fading behind them, and with every step, a sense of peace enveloped them. And as the sun broke through the clouds of despair, they stepped into a vibrant reality, redefined by a love that would endure beyond the shadows. Now, before you go, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Every click helps bring more stories to you. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about the ending, because we want to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let's spread the love.